All right, let's just get into it, shall we? Grixis Shadow. So, Death Shadow, for those not familiar, is the 13/13 here that gets smaller based on your life total. So, the basic idea of this archetype, for those that haven't seen it, is you use fetch lands along with shock lands to deal 3 chunks of damage to yourself. You Thoughtseize to deal some damage to yourself, and you eventually cast this card backed up by powerful protection like Stubborn Denial to keep it alive. This build today is trying a couple copies of Kroxa in it. So Kroxa, Standard, All-Star, have liked it in Historic. This card's just pretty flexible overall. It's like Splash into Modern and stuff in this format also. The big thing to know about Kroxa is that in order to balance the escape cost of this, taxing our graveyard, I have cut the 4th Gurmag Angler from this 75. So Gurmag Angler is a really powerful card here. So one of the things that we're going to be thinking about when we play with Kroxa is having access to Kroxa worth giving up a Gurmag Angler? Yeah, it's also going to fight in our graveyard a little bit with Snapcaster Mage as well. So, like, Kroxa's not completely free in this archetype. So trying to evaluate, like, is the upside that it offers worth it for the grindy element that it provides. So let's go ahead and hop on into a constructed event here with this one and see how it goes. Oh no. Oh no, I'm out of tickets and play points. Oh, I'm so disorganized. All right, I have to go sell. Secondary markets suck, chat. Welcome to Behind the Scenes with Jeff Hoagland, where we're disorganized like many other streamers. So I have 5 treasure chesties. So I don't quite have to put more dollars in yet, but I do have to take some of my winnings and go turn them into tickets. I mean, to be fair, it's not even really a rookie streamer thing. There's a lot of people who are well-established streamers who like stream full time. That just like don't do any prep off stream. You know, whatever works for people. I generally don't like doing stuff like this on stream. And actually, to highlight part of why I increased the price on Moto decks, I actually I bought $100 worth of tickets. Probably a little over a month ago, and I'm down to $19 worth of tickets here. So, yeah. You know. I'm spewing just a little bit too much on that. Oh, right. Oh, well, this'll be fun. Okay, so, If I do that, okay, does that work technically? I think that works technically. I don't know how window capturing this is going to go. So I mentioned the other day I'm streaming from a Windows system for the first time. So the way Magic Online is a bunch of individual windows here. And yeah, so like the preview window I have to re-grab because it pops in and out. And then when I change from doing the deck tech to actually playing the match, that's also a different window that pops up. Which is awkward. Alright, so I had to adjust my hotkeys. This is a new install. Oh yeah, this is fine. On the bottom of the Fiery Isle. The Luca build around. Sounds good, Sniper. Thanks for the support. Yep, still adjusting things. Like, let's get all of my normal stops in. So the reason I switched to Windows, I kept having a... I keep having a random internet disconnect dropout issue on my Linux setup. And I've like tried to debug every possible thing related to my actual connection and it doesn't, I haven't been able to, I don't think it's related to my actual connection at this point. So that leaves some kind of software issue. And I had been thinking about setting up a Windows partition anyway, so I could take some other sponsored streams with various games that don't work well under Wine, and setting up the Windows partition also lets me simply debug if fixes. It doesn't actually fix the OBS glitch. So the OBS issue, actually, I had a developer respond to me that was a feature and not a bug, and that was the intended. You feel it would have remained between distros? I don't know, but I felt if I was going to redo my operating system anyways, I might as well take the opportunity to expand the range on what I'm able to produce in terms of content. If I was going to take the effort to reset everything back up, it might as well be to reset up Windows. Might as well be to set up Windows as opposed to just resetting up Linux. It could be some kind of underlying thing, could be in the network manager. There's just so many different variables I could twiddle and change that it could be in the network stack on the Linux system that like debugging all of them is basic. It would just take forever. I didn't update the Stream Decker, thanks. Would have just been incredibly difficult, and it's especially difficult to debug because it doesn't happen consistently. So like it happens very, very sporadically. Do you have a look at voice? I don't know what that refers to, Shiny Kuma. I'm not sure what voice routing software means. What's the feature? The feature on OBS is that if you are streaming to Twitch or any other platform with OBS and your internet disconnects, OBS refuses to stop streaming unless your internet reconnects. So the only way if your internet disconnects to stop streaming with OBS is to kill OBS and restart it. Which meant that on top of my internet hiccuping and making it so, on top of the internet hiccuping and having me to restart my Twitch stream, I'd also have to disconnect and restart OBS, which would mean my local recording would also get disrupted, so I'd have to do video editing stuff to splice that back together. I have to mess with FFmpeg on top of it all. So I think I'm just passing at this point. My opponent's playing blue-white, which probably means they have 4 mana sweepers in their deck, so rather than commit my second threat, I'd much rather just, like, snap Thought Scour at the end of their turn, I think. The chat font is slightly different. I had to reconfigure the entirety of my setup. I couldn't, I back up my OBS scenes periodically, but I couldn't import them into the new system because it's on Windows and all the file paths are specific to Linux. Text rendering is also slightly different between the different operating systems. So the children didn't figure out how to find each other, but I figured out how to have the children find each other. And then Christy just sent me a message shortly after I go live. They were playing really nicely together, and then apparently Declan blew up Jacob's house. So hopefully I don't hear people screaming bloody murder upstairs, but I assume that didn't go over well. Jacob was very, very proud and excited about his house, so I'm kind of assuming that didn't end particularly well. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, I wear shoes just like the rest of you. I have feet, I swear. I swear there's feet off this webcam. Alright, do I commit the Death Shadow as well here? They played Winds of Abandon and Spellqueller. Do I think does based on the cards they've played so far, are they less likely to have a sweeper? It's really frustrating, Mike. You should call, when you see that, just for reference, if the area in which you live has a shelter in place order, you should call 311. You should call the non-emergency number and report them. Yeah, I kind of feel like I just don't have enough spells left over. Are feet pics part of the tier 3 Snapchat? Sure. Why not? Alright, sweet. No attacks there. It's real good for us. So I'm going to respond to this fetch with the Fatal Push, because what they do could dictate what land I need to get here. We've got 2 thumbs and a super dead to a Settle the Wreckage. This guy right here. Second Spell Queller. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it. Need like a Spell Pierce here. Sick. Alright, so what are we doing? Mystic Dispute sounds good. Is it just Mystic Dispute? I kind of feel like we don't really have much here, right? Any reason to not pay life to play around Pierce? No, I don't think so. I think that's a good recommendation. Yeah, it is mostly upside, I agree. I'm gonna leave in the Dismembers. Probably just trim the Fatal Push. Fatal Push, like, isn't terrible here, because in addition to pushing their Spell Quellers, when we have Revolt, it also kills Celestial Colonnade, and Celestial Colonnade's like a real consideration. They have land plus path. They can kill you with Colonnade. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, it's you don't Dismember with life because Path to Exile. Path to Exile is actually more likely than Spell Pierce. Yeah, definitely should play around Path to Exile. It's a good point. It seems... I guess it isn't fine. Like, the triple removal is not good. Like, at a glance, this looks okay, but then, like, at a second glance, it's really not. What do the kids say? Is it YOLO? Kids don't say that anymore, right, chat? We're not hip any longer. I've lost my hipness. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and just do this now. They're going to fetch, but if I draw a Thought Scour on their upkeep, I want to be able to cast it. So I think it's right. Like, this isn't actually what they're drawing, but I want to crack this Bauble and draw a card. In case we hit Scour. Yeah! Snap it off. Never didn't have it. Pretty sure we Inquisition here and try and get rid of a Teferi. Rest in peace, Geist of Saint Trash, Spellqueller. Alright, well, definitely getting rid of the Rest in Peace. That one's real good against us. I suppose with Rest in Peace and Geist, I probably want Engineered Explosives for the third game. Really open for a fetch land here. Second Fish. That one's not going to do it yet. Probably dead. I think we're likely dead at this point. Yeah, we'll swap the third Fatal Push for an Explosives here. Let's go ahead on Deathbiff. Listen, I don't make the card names, I just read what's on the table, okay? So, not a whole lot changing. Let's just try and be a little bit more fortunate here. Geist is blue Boros Charm. Yeah, that's an accurate assessment. I mean, this hand's very good if it draws a land, right? Like, I'll mulligan before I talk myself into it, okay? I want you to know that I was seriously thinking about it, though, right? This hand could be anything, even a land. Coward, I am. There is fear in my dojo, okay? I'm scared, chat. I'm scared. There's only 18 lands in this deck. Like, in a normal deck that, like, needed to hit runners, I think I'd have kept that. I'm trying to figure out. It's nice to know that typing in my timer is not a Linux bug, it's just a Moto bug, because Wine's pretty bug complete. I was trying to figure out why my hotkey wasn't working, and then it turns out that it was because I was currently typing in my opponent's, my own match timer here. Oh, Moto, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. This software has bugs. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. People who talk about being upset that like Arena's a release-ready piece of software, it's just like, oh my sweet summer child. Some of us have been dealing with Wizards of the Coast and their quality of software for years at this point. For years. It's an in-game notepad to write things down. Yeah, exactly. Sure. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm supposed to jam Royal Scion there. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to just jam Royal Scion there. That's probably what's supposed to happen. Morning, window head. That's a Geist. So I don't think I'm supposed to just Kroxa. I think I snap Thought Scour. And then next turn I can get... Next turn I can escape Kroxa with Stubby D up. Oh no, I milled my basic island. So if I want to get blue now, I have to fetch shock. That's so unfortunate. Moto's like my old claim system. There's one guy left in the company that knows how to work it. MTGA is like the new release ready. Yeah. Yep. MTGA is far from perfect, but it's definitely a huge step up in terms of application quality compared to Magic Online on average. Alright, so I'm taking 6 here. The question is, I don't want to fetch shock and go to 4 because then I die to their token in the air, which would not be ideal. I don't think I can Inquisition this turn, because if I Inquisition and I see 2 ways to get rid of Kroxa, I die. So I have to just escape Kroxa and hope that if they have 2, they can't cast both of them, I think. Because there isn't a basic left in my deck to go get with this. In fact, is there a land in general? My island is gone. How many shocks are in this deck? This deck has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shocks. Yes, there's 1 more Blood Crypt I can get. Alright, don't path me, bro. Dispel. Alright, I mean, they technically granted my request, huh? Technically did not path me. Request granted. The old monkey paw. I will not path you. Oh, gosh. Is this thing... Do I have to recapture the preview window every time I join a game? That's kind of tilting. That appears to be the case. Moto does something to re-render the preview window every time we go back and forth. So I have to recapture it each time. Right? I'm glad we're not doing much Magic Online these days. In game 1 there, you had Bauble, fetch land, discard spell. Why didn't I scribe? Bugger off. If I missed that, it's because I missed it. So again, rather than saying, hey Jeff, why didn't you make the good play? Just say why it's good and don't shit on me. Thanks. Can you set window capture to window with the same name? Oh, I have. It is. It is in fact set to the one with the same name. You don't have to screen capture Moto on Windows. You don't. You can window capture it. In fact, I am currently streaming it with it window captured. I'm just currently experiencing what the different things are that are issues. Now, I'm pretty sure that's a Moto issue. Pretty sure that's not specific to Windows in general. Pretty sure it has to do with however Moto renders its displayed windows. I don't know how I expected that to end, Weens. Like, they were so sad they couldn't find each other. And then, like, they were so happy. Like, Declan woke up after Jacob, and when he came downstairs this morning, he was like, brother, Dad found my house. We can build houses together. And, like, when I came down to go to work, they were, like, nicely building a house together. It was just, like, the sweetest thing I'd ever seen. And then, like, shortly after I went live, Christy sent me a message just like, Declan blew up the house. I was just like, I don't know how I was expecting that to end, but I guess that's probably a pretty natural conclusion. It took me forever to figure out how to get their characters to find each other, because when Christy set up their world initially, she set it up to infinite, and apparently on the Switch version of Minecraft, you have to leave the world to adjust the coordinate system or to add a coordinate system to it. I'm not quite sure what the fallout was. I didn't hear anyone screaming bloody murder, so I'm assuming it couldn't have been that bad in terms of fallout. Are they dead to Temur Battle Rage? No, right? Because this is only 4. I can do 14 here. So let's just Inquisition, smack them, and hold up Stubborn Denial. I'm going to take Simian Spirit Guide because it's free mana and they're dead in 2 turns. No, the Pain Land makes it 14. Yeah, this is a 3/3. The numbers are tiny, Enmoto. It's not your fault. They're not dead this turn, but they can't win this game. All right, so they're dead on board. They have Ad Nauseam and Pentet Prism. This matchup is atrocious for Ad Nauseam. It's really, really bad for them. Dispute, Disdainful Stroke, Rejection. Honestly, I think Surgical Extraction comes in here because it's a way we can hurt ourselves for free. And if we discard spell their Ad Nauseam and Surgical It, they generally can't win the game. Royal Scions, probably too slow here. Kroxa seems fine. Is a Stork Turner fully? It is not. I don't think we're gonna fully hit the cap on that one. I think the combination of it being on Easter and requiring people to stream to Discord is... Yeah, we're at 193 and we're taking up to 256 for the 11 rounds. So if you're interested in playing you will have the option to do that. Does Ad Nauseam still play Grave Titan on the sideboard? It's not really an established deck. It's like a deck that has a lot of variation because it's not tier 1. I guess it is established. It's not tier 1 though. So like, who knows? Yeah, it's also not an ideal time zone for people outside the US. Unfortunately, that's just like how long tournaments are going to work because I have to do, 10, 11, 12 hours of coverage for it. So in order for that to be a possibility, it's going to have to start midday for people. One idea that seemed okay that could possibly happen is, yeah, I guess Rejection's not that good. I need some cuts here. Maybe these Surgical Extractions aren't good enough. Actually, would I rather have Surgical Extractions or Shatters? 4 Shatters is probably too many. Let's do this. Sorry, to think, how do you submit deck lists? All handled through MTG Melee. There's a submit deck function there. Just poke around on the website. One idea to make things friendly for Europeans is a 2-day structure could be possible, but like 2-day tournaments also make the tournament inaccessible to other people for other reasons. Greenspeed, thanks for the 3/4 year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for coming around. How are we doing with this deck? We lost the first match to blue-white mid-range, and we are currently up a game here against Ad Nauseam. That's a very good draw. God. Oh, it still doesn't feel good, chat. It still doesn't feel good. Oh no. Everything is so terrible. Surgical Veil? No, let's not. How dare they counter our field bans card with their field bans card? Listen, to set... And actually, it's not, I was going to say a low bar. It's actually kind of a high bar. Veil is more offensive than Thoughtseize, and I don't think it's particularly close. Like, Thoughtseize is a pretty offensive card. It's like, Veil is much worse than Thoughtseize. And if you disagree, feel free to let me know so we can give you a 10-minute break to think about why you're wrong. You do have a horse now, Green Sky. Is your horse amazing? Stubborn Denial's an awesome draw here. I get to fetch shock this in, play Big Fish, hold up Stub, and put them on a pretty quick clock here. So if I surgical here, I put them to 14, and then I have 11, 12, 13, 14. So I think I am actually going to surgical their Veil of Summer here, because it allows me to kill them next turn with the Kolaghan's command, potentially. So a couple of Thassa's Oracles here. Ad Nauseam, Angel's Grace, Unlife. So we're actually not going to be killing them anytime soon because they have a lot of annoying cards here. That being said, they don't have any card selections. We should like sit here and beat on them basically. Yeah, they are staying alive for a little bit. I'm pretty sure we just let the unlife resolve, and I'm just like reserving this stubborn denial for. I'm just reserving this stubborn denial for the So, this is actually super meaningful. It's important that I put them to 0 this turn, because putting them to 0 this turn means their Angel's Graces, I believe, don't work anymore. So this puts them to 12, and then I put them to 0. Because the way the wording on Angel's Grace works, if they're at 0, it doesn't prevent them from taking infect counters, I believe. You can't lose the game if damage reduces your life total less than 1, it reduces it to 1 instead. Yeah. Yep. So, because of that, because they tapped out there, we put them to 0, and then they take infect. Angel's Grace will prevent them from dying to infect on my turn, but then on their next upkeep, they die to state-based actions. They can't respond to those. It literally just loses... Okay, I think I figured out how to not have to re-update the thing every time. All right. OBS is pretty reasonable software overall. I'm not having internet connection issues. The easiest of games. So this is the play I missed in the first game, apparently. So when you have a fetch land with the Bauble, you can Bauble yourself. You can see Fatal Push there. And I don't actually know if I want Fatal Push. Do I want Fatal Push in the Dark and Modern? I feel like the answer is no, right? I feel like the answer is no. No, I can't see their first turn because I bubbled on my turn because I wanted to be able to play a Thought Scour if we hit it. So the bubble trigger is going to draw during their upkeep before they make a play. So you could maybe make the argument that I'm supposed to wait to do this till their turn, but I think the upside of drawing a Thought Scour is high. Vomit. It's Schrodinger's push. If you keep it, they're on Titan. If you get rid of it, they're on humans. So, like, if I hadn't already shown them what we were playing, I would concede here, honestly. But, like, anybody reasonable who's, like, has experience in Modern knows that we're on Shadow from this start. And, like, we're pretty unlikely to win from this spot, but... The second, yeah, I actually just gonna go to the post-board game, I think. Am I? And the Shadow might steal it. Yeah, let's play a couple turns. The double, drawing the second Stubborn Denial really hurts there, though. Hey, Stingray, thanks for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, it's like super punish all around, right? Like, not only did I get rid of the push, but then we drew another stub. Just, like, really rough. Yeah, you lose time. Time is valuable. Hey, BJ Roth, thanks for the 23 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hopefully, for our 2-year anniversary, we can be rid of COVID. I mean, Glorious Leader told me that we would be rid of COVID by April, so I can only assume everything's getting ready to open back up right now as I speak. I did get a shoe deal. The Reebok Zig Kineticas are wonderful. There's a picture of me with mine on my Twitter. Spent the other day, Tuesday, when I was off, running up and down the block, chasing Jacob on his bike. They feel nice. I'm ready to stubborn denial. Oh, they're all creatures. All right. That's good enough for me. Okay. Kroxa and Fish are both awkward against Reflector Mage. How many discard spells am I supposed to keep in this matchup? Does anybody know? People, is there anybody in chat who has a decent amount of experience with this archetype? I don't know what the answer is to how many discard spells are supposed to be in my deck post board. Is it all of them? I feel like the answer could be all of them, but I don't know that with certainty. It could just be Thoughtseize out. Like, I have 5 more cards I could theoretically cut here. Yeah, Shadow has a different, as a humans player, get rid of Thoughtseize. Okay, I think that's fair. Like, I think I can expect them to deal a reasonable amount of damage to me. We're playing against humans. I think Thoughtseize is supposed to come out. We're supposed to leave Inquisition in. Cut Street Wraith. Oh, that's a good suggestion. Yeah, I've heard that before too. In the aggressive matchups, you trim Street Wraith. I think I like that. I think I like that suggestion. If I do this and Coward split them. I don't really feel like blocking warriors this morning anyways. Yeah, let's do that. This is kind of random in the context of what we're streaming, but someone just asked me on Twitter this question, and I think it's important to spread this information because it's something I didn't know either. I had someone say they would vote for Biden if I could make a reasonable argument for why the Dems mucked up the primaries so badly. And I think it's really important to understand because I assumed the DNC had some control over the primaries that happen. The DNC has a small amount of influence over primaries, but in large part, they don't control them at all. Like, every primary in the United States is handled individually on a state-by-state level. That's why some of them are really screwed up processes like caucuses, and some of them are just like normal voting. Like, so if you're upset with things like the Wisconsin primary happening and other things like that, like, that's on a state-by-state level. That's not something the DNC has influence over. It is. I agree that it's still not a reason to not vote against Trump, but just to spread acknowledgement and information that's accurate. Like, if you are assuming the DNC has some strong control over the primary process, your assumption is incorrect. So for the Discord server, you can follow the directions on my website here. I think I bottom Liliana here. Or do I keep her and bottom Kolaghan's command? The DNC assigns delegates to the states, but the states choose how their primary process happens, is my understanding. We could greed bottom the Fiery Isle. I actually don't hate that. I actually just don't hate that. It's an easy greed bottom. I mean, we can cast double Dismember without a land, right? Sick. Why was there all the silliness with coin flips and problems? Those were again issues because of how the states chose to manage their primaries. And things like flipping coins to break ties are, again, rules that are dumb, but are dictated at the state level. They are not dictated by the DNC. I could go a couple different ways here, honestly. Gosh, if we hit a... What if I take the Noble Hierarch and hope to hit a land? I think we do that. I think we do this and we hope to hit a land and just shatter the Vial next turn. I mean, I have 2 Dismembers to kill the Magus. All right, 3rd land. Swish. Swish. Yeah, it's also the black land for Liliana too, which is quite chef's kiss. The fact that Humans is playing Maggots of the Moon is just such an elegant illustration of the fact that people who said Blood Moon and Maggots of the Moon punish greedy mana bases have just always been idiots and just never understood what they were talking about. Hey, thanks for the tip, Justiper. Get 4-color Dreadhorde in the Historic docket. We definitely can. Thanks for keeping me around. Oh, that's a side effect. Okay, so I'm window capturing. So like, if I share my whole desktop, you see that, but my Moto scene here with the preview window, I'm capturing just the game window. And capturing just the game window, however Moto renders that menu, it counts as a different window with however OBS is capturing. That's funny. So on Linux, when I would stream Moto, I have Moto running in a VM, so I just window capture the VM and it's not a big deal. Alright, if they named Dismember here, it's because they were firing up the stream to Ghost. They should name Fatal Push, probably, because that's the card we play 4 of. There was a long pause there before that Meddling Mage came down. If this name's Dismember, they're ghosting. If it names Fatal Push, they're probably being honest. Thoughtseize, super honest. I actually think that's pretty wrong. I think they're supposed to name Fatal Push. This is a sick draw because this, in conjunction with Liliana, lets me kill things that have 2 toughness normally. Plague Engineer could have also been an okay one, but this archetype also doesn't generally play a lot of copies of this card Fatal Push is a safe to assume I have 4 of, especially post-board, so I think that's the ideal name in the dark for them. So their hand right now is Reflector Mage, Kite Sail Freebooter, Magus of the Moon, and then 1 card I don't know. Yeah, you also can't see me typing a creature type in here. That's really funny. How's Kroxa been playing in this deck? So far, we've not really had a chance to use it to good effect. I don't know. I almost feel like if this archetype wants to play Kroxa, it probably wants it out of the sideboard. This card's one-sided, right? Of course it's one-sided. Man, modern Magic card design is such pits, chat. It's just giant armpit stains of rancidness. Like, I don't understand. Like, you want to print a card that pays homage to Engineered Plague. Can you at least have the decency to make it symmetrical like Engineered Plague? Like, come on. Come on! Actually just stains. You've been subbed for 2 months. Did you just resub today, Sirius? I'm going to go ahead and manually fresh the integration just in case you resub today. I'll force the sync, but it's not. It sunk 2 minutes ago. Yeah. If you're having an issue with Discord, I'd encourage you to contact Discord support. I don't handle any of that integration. Imagine asking if a playable Modern Horizons card is an absolute... It's not even about being busted so much as it's just about, like, the core design decisions about this card. Thanks for the half a year, Omega King. It should be there now, Sirius. If you don't currently see it in your Connections tab on your desktop Discord, after linking your Twitch account, contact Discord support. At least it's a 2/2 and not a 1 price. Yeah, I suppose. It has Death Touch too. Like... You want your niche answer cards to be extra pushed. Got it. think Red Black Titan for Historic should be on the website. I don't think so. I think the Grixis aggro deck we've been playing is just a better version of that, Mikey. And next week, after the Historic Open is over and done with, I'm gonna add that one to the site. Pretty much all my extra time for content stuff is being put towards trying to make that work for the time being. So I assume they're going to try and attack Liliana here. I'm going to dismember their 1-2, and then I'm going to ult my Planeswalker, and we'll win the game. Did either of you... You play Plague Engineer, it kills your opponent's stuff. You play Snappy and it dies, and this leads to you lose a game. Did either of you player have fun there? I mean, fun's super subjective. I'd argue one of the more fun parts of Magic for me personally is playing through my opponent's cards that are interactive with me. As someone who's had plenty of fun playing Blood Moon and Chalice of the Void decks and other symmetrical prison effects that would be way more busted if they were one-sided, yeah, you can still have fun with symmetrical effects. Hey, Thirsty Kane. Thanks for the 13 months. Welcome back. You want to agree to disagree that fun's subjective? Bugger off. Fun being a subjective measurement is objectively true. There aren't things that everybody finds fun. This is not reality. Again, I think 2 + 2 is 4. You think 2 + 2 is 5. You think we should agree to disagree? How about if you pound sand? The post-fact world in which we live is one of the worst things about the current era in which we live. Just like the number of people who like think that the appropriate response to agree to disagree when like you're talking about something in terms of objective science or objective fact is just like, no, I'm sorry, that's not how this works. We're not writing a paper about how you feel about your favorite book you read in 3rd grade. Like, facts matter and reality is reality. And I'm sorry if it makes you sad to hear that. There are a wide selection of things for which things can be subjective, and agreeing to disagree is fine. There are also a subsegment of things where that does not make sense. Do I play out the fish into a Reflector Mage here? Or do I just Thought Scour and try and find a land for this Plague Engineer? Yeah, people agreeing to disagree is why we currently have a political system where the two parties are divided along the lines of who listens to scientists and who doesn't. If 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 5, then how do you explain 5G causing the current pandemic? Oh no. You can have opinions on what you want to do with those facts. Like, you know, there's a good example of there's lots of different opinions on the best way to go about addressing climate change, but putting your head in the sand and saying climate change isn't real. I agree, Fair and Brightmore. Something we talked about the other day is a big part of why Trump and his administration got elected is because too many people elected to choose civility over telling people when they were doing something that wasn't okay. There's too many people that, like, instead of telling that family member or friend that they shouldn't do that racist thing or they shouldn't support that bigot, instead they were just like, nah, man, my friendship's more important. That thing doesn't impact me personally. We should just agree to disagree about this thing that really hurts people and has an impact. And if more people were just willing to say, hey, that's not okay. I know you're my friend, but that's really not okay, and you need to move past that and put social pressure on people to do the right thing, the world would be a better place. Scotatoria, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yes, climate change and the pandemic walk hand in hand. The same people who denied climate change denied that this pandemic was going to be an issue. That is correct. The GOP is a party full of science deniers. Plain and simple. If they do understand the science, they're ignoring it for profit, which is arguably worse. Sadistic, thanks for the 26 months. Welcome back. Yep, Juice Master. What's my opinions of Control and Historic getting pounded over and over with both Blue-White Control and Esper? I don't know if the deck is just bad or... You know, I haven't played a ton of Control in a post-Field of the Dead world, if I'm being honest. And I'm sure that addition to the format changes the dynamic of it. I know before Field of the Dead existed, I liked Control a pretty reasonable amount. And I think there's a chance that even in a post-Field of the Dead world in Historic, Blue-White Control and Control in general can still exist and be successful because of Dream Trawler. But I don't have a ton of experience with it. Yeah. The one thing that really gets me, Sheriff Wiggles, is I had a family member who, in one of my last interactions with them before I decided it just wasn't worth it anymore, they told me point blank that they felt one of the biggest problems with the current United States is the people who collect food stamps or WIC and also have their kids get free meals at school. They were convinced that the real problem with society was the people who are able to get both of those benefits. And it's just like, actually, I think I'd actually tweeted about it at one point. I think one of the biggest cons out there that the GOP's been very successful at implementing is they've convinced people who make $25 an hour that their real enemy is people who make $8 an hour. They have convinced an entire subsegment of the population that the reason why they only make 60 grand per year is because of the people who only make 20 grand per year. And the fact that they can't understand
how much wealth is extracted from the economy by billionaires is just unreal. GOP stands for Grand Old Party. It's a synonym for the Republican Party. Yeah, no problem. Questions like that are always fine. $16. Can we do the hat trick? Street Wraith? Rats. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I have trouble imagining. A part of that is almost assuredly because of racism. They almost assuredly believe poor people are part of the problem. Oh, I forgot. I was talking and I should have bubbled myself there. Awkward. Dwayne Bank, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. You sure you weren't? It's not just your stepdad. It's not just my family member. There's lots of people out there that believe that type of thing. At least you know their next draw is bad. That's true. So I'm not thought scouring here proactively because if they play a Sylvan Scrying or a map before they play a land, I'm going to stubborn denial them. They did not. All of our specific Magic decks are sponsored by viewers like you. Small car. As always, all formats are available on Magic Online. So if you're interested in seeing Modern, Legacy, Pauper, Vintage, Pioneer, whatever you'd like to submit, I'm open to entertaining submissions for them. You can submit them using the form on my website as always. The fact that they don't have a second Tron piece here is really good for us. We're going to get to go ahead and, well, now we get to Inquisition, right? Sick. So this gives me my 6th card in the graveyard because we had Bauble double Street Wraith. So we'll do this, and then we'll play Gurmag Angler. Huh. So they can guaranteed kill. Is it correct to take? I think it's correct to take the Oblivion Stone. You want it? I don't have any. I don't have any ways to destroy Oblivion Stone in my main deck. I feel like I'm supposed to. So like the Oblivion Stone is going to get blown up. Let's assume my opponent's going to pop O-Stone on 5. If they pop O-Stone on 5, what does my turn count look like? I play Gurmag Angler this turn. I attack for 5, and then they have their turn 4. I play a Death Shadow. Then on my turn 4, my next turn, I attack for like 9 or 10, so I still haven't killed them. And then their turn 5, they blow the Oblivion Stone before I can kill them. I think that's the play. I think it's take Stone, play Shadow to beat Dismember. I think that's the correct sequence. If I could kill them back and forth before they could blow the O-Stone on 5, I think it would be correct to take the Dismember, but I'm not able to do that. No one wants to talk about the money that got wasted, drug testing food stamps recipients in Florida. Spent more money catching a whopping 5% or less using drugs than what they got back from canceling stamp users. Correct. And even then, you could argue the fact that, like, denying people WIC assistance because they're, like, smoking marijuana is also absurd, right? Like, marijuana should be legal everywhere. Because never forget, the war on drugs was actually is actually just, you know, it was never about the actual drugs. The war on drugs was never about the actual drugs. It was always about control and oppression. So we don't know any of the cards in their hand. They're one piece away from Tron. So naturally they're going to have Tron piece plus a bomb. We're looking for a Thoughtseize or a Stubborn Denial here. Do I want to cycle this? I think I'd rather just Kroxa them. Yeah, definitely, Theo. I'm gonna leave spells in here that I would like to Snapcaster Mage back, ideally. And then with this fetch land, I actually have the ability to escape Kroxa next turn still. Hey, small car, thanks for the tier 3 sub. I really appreciate that generosity. It's some certain level of support. Tier 3 subs, because they support me so much, they can submit an arena deck every single month, including build around. So if you have a standard or historic specific deck or an idea you'd like to see tried out, be sure to submit it using the form on my website. All right, so Ceremonious Rejection and Disdainful Strokes are easy ins here. Abrade and Kolaghan's command destroy their, what's it called, before they can get going. Dismember and Fatal Push are pretty mediocre in this matchup. That's pretty easy and easy out, huh? I don't think I want these other cards here. Any comments, thoughts, or feelings on the sideboard plan? Thanks, small car. I really appreciate that. It's tough, ASU. One thing that's like kind of reassuring. It's reassuring, but it's not. Is like only like 2/3 or less of the country vote. So like when you think about it, there's only like 1/3 of the country that's obnoxious and doesn't understand reality or science, and there's another 1/3 of the country that's just apathetic. Which I don't know that that's that much better, but there's a glimmer of hope that like maybe you could wake up some of that apathetic group. Sure. We don't know, Terran. Listen, I want to be optimistic though. Maybe they're all great. Maybe all of that third is great if they just woke up a little bit. I mean, this deck is pretty good at filling up its graveyard. You'll also note that we're only playing 3 copies of Gurmag Angler, so we did trim 1 Angler to fit in Kroxa. My overall feelings on Kroxa so far haven't even been so far that like we don't have the resources to use it, so much as like I'm not sure this archetype really wants the grindy axis on which this deck operates. Yeah, this, I feel like Kroxa in this archetype is kind of like, if you think it's good, it's probably you're like misidentifying what this archetype is supposed to be trying to do. Well, we need a threat. Every ultimatum gets Aether Gusted. I don't know why that's so funny, but it definitely is. Every ultimatum gets Aether Gusted. Oh, that's so good. It's so good. All right, so we're going to get Troned, to the surprise of no one. One of the things I've really learned over the last couple days too is I'd like to prefix this with it's obviously absurd to compare Bernie or Biden or any of the Democratic policies to the Republican policies in terms of what they're trying to execute. So my next statement is not intended to do that. However, a number of people who only support Bernie and apparently refuse to vote for Biden in my mentions the last couple days has really shown me that a lot of people who claim to be progressive in terms of how they react to facts that counter their worldview react in pretty much the same way Republicans and Trump supporters do. Just heads buried firmly in the sand. If the narrative doesn't match what they think the narrative should be, they just want to ignore it. I'm like, I get it. It sucks that Bernie didn't get the nom. I sent him money. I really wanted him to be the nomination. But like for instance, I had someone tell me they would vote for Bernie, they would vote for Biden if I could explain to them why the DNC messed up the primaries. And I said, well, the DNC doesn't control the primaries. And they said Biden won by voter fraud. And I said, do you have a citation on that? And then they blocked me. So very clearly, they never had any intention of changing what they actually thought. They just wanted to use my post and grab my attention to spread propaganda. Lot of goalpost sliding, all of that jazz. That's not really fair, Greeny T. Do you have a citation on that? Do you have a citation on that fact? Because from my understanding, the number of Bernie voters that ended up voting for Hillary was more than Hillary voters who ended up voting for Obama when Hillary lost the primary to Obama. So there's never 100% transition rate. You were never going to have, if Bernie won the nom, 100% of Biden voters weren't going to vote for Bernie, and 100% of Bernie voters weren't going to vote for Biden. That was never going to happen. I agree, Jerry. Believe it or not, almost every person who has told me that they're going to protest vote or do that or do something or other along those lines, their avatar's been a white male. Almost every time. Yeah, if we'd have turned on the stubborn denial there, we'd have probably been in an okay spot, even with the blast zone in their hand, but missing that, and we're just too far behind. I mean, one of the Thoughtseize is a great card here. So again, because I want to draw this Thoughtseize, I'm going to pass the turn and draw it. It's important to remember you're not just voting for Joe. You're voting for his entire administration. An administration that Bernie's going to have some amount of say in because he's part of that party. Because he made such a deep run in the primary. Other people who aren't Biden will have a say in how things happen. Yeah, I've blocked a lot of people, Blue. Correct. Yeah, you're also really voting for Joe's VP. I'd encourage you to not make statements based on your anecdotal feelings like that, Greeny T. When you make statements like that based on your anecdotal feelings, as opposed to seeking out reality and seeing what actually happened, you're actually just hurting the cause you're trying to help. Again, disconnect your feelings from it, look at what's actually happened and really think about it. Look at the data perspective, not just what your personal anecdotes say about the situation. I'm also betting Bernie does what he did last time with the rest of his campaign money. Correct. Yeah, actually, a good stat that I saw that actually gave me a really good glimmer of hope after Bernie dropped out yesterday is if you look at the number of people in the House that are progressives and the number of people who are progressives that are running year after year, that's a number to be optimistic about. I also agree with that. Talking about Biden and saying he has mental decline based on a few Twitter clips is irresponsible, and that's definitely pushing propaganda. You could say Biden is often largely incoherent. That's accurate. But there's plenty of people that are incoherent and poor public speakers who don't have dementia. I think saying Biden is often incoherent when speaking is accurate. I think that's factual and fair. So they have a power plant here. So do I take the scrying and hope they don't hit the Tron? Or do I take the worm coil engine and hope to kill them before the Tron kills me? You know who else is incoherent? Trump. I don't know that that's strictly true. I've watched a lot of Trump's press conferences since he started doing them with the whole COVID thing, and he largely lies when he speaks, but he's pretty coherent with the lies that he's telling. I think we're supposed to take the scrying too. I think that's accurate. I don't know. Could go either way here. Hopefully we draw a shadow and we get to run them down, but we're gonna have to have some things break our way to win this game, I think. Feels like we're a little bit behind at the moment on average. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. All right, we're 2-2. Let's see if we can get our play points back in the last one, huh? My opponent drew the card we thought seized. I don't know. If we took the worm coil, they would have drawn a worm coil. I don't know. I don't really look at spoilers through the context of Modern anymore. I don't feel like I'm qualified to speak to what this format is in this current state. I just don't play it enough. I've been enjoying the range of games in it when we've been playing, but I think like trying to speak to like what's going to make an impact on this format, I don't feel like I have a really solid grasp of like what's going on here anymore. It's been too long since I was hammering the format all the time. One of my things I'm going to do tomorrow is sit down and look through all the spoilers that have happened so far. and start thinking about build around submissions. We're supposed to get a full spoiler today, right? Miner's pretty grindy right now because of Uro. Morning, Dylan. Yeah, it makes sense. Full spoilers tomorrow. Okay. So today's the last day of spoilers, and then the full set list goes up tomorrow. If I Thought Scour, I can play Fish, right? This adds 3 cards. Do I Fish or do I Thoughtseize? The 17th that comes out in Arena. For people who Wizards likes, they'll have a pre-release stream on the 16th, which I won't be a part of. I'll be taking the 16th off. Versus Steam Vents Fish. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. If they were like a Hollowed Fountain deck, we'd probably want to Thoughtseize first to clear Path to Exile. But here we just want to jam the threat. It's not Wild Growth Watcher. My go live notification was wrong. The stream title is accurate. Hey, Redlink, thanks for the tier 2 sub. I appreciate the 15 months. Welcome back. Yet this is a Narset standard builder, and I definitely can. Lots of great standard builder runs in there. We do actually have a Legacy deck in the queue, though. So next Moto morning is likely to be Legacy Eldrazi. But it will not be today. Yeah, that's accurate. I had my days mixed up. Huh. Probably just Blood Moon, right? Like, the rest of these cards just like don't really matter. You could maybe make the argument that I'm supposed to take Lightning Bolt because 2 bolts lets them kill my Gurmag Angler. I don't know. They're like 1 fetch land away from being able to cast Blood Moon, so it's probably the right take. Our threats are pretty big on average, which tends to give blue-red control decks a tough time. Welcome back, Mikey. Remember that next time you want to ask for a timeout. That's what happens. I'm getting up on you. Well, I mean, they're at 13, right? And Temur Battle Rage is only 10. So they have Click, Royal Scion, Lightning Bolt here. Hey, MTG Viking, thank you for the 12 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm going to take their Bolt here. And hopefully we'll kill them with Battle Rage next turn after they block. You'd Battle Rage now? Yeah, why would I Battle Rage now? Then if I Battle Rage now, they don't die next turn because they can chump block with Click. When are we switching to Arena? This is the last match. You can always find my approximate schedule, including what I plan to stream when, on my website. Usually the arena segment when we do Moto in the morning starts sometime between 9:30 and 10. So they have Click and then 2 cards we don't know since they looted away the Deprive. They take it with Click. We have a chance of killing Click with Push. We don't have a chance of killing Click with Push. They're likely to click on my turn. If they click me on my turn, I can Battle Rage in response to the Click trigger. I think I'm far more likely to kill them this turn waiting on the Temur Battle Rage than I am to otherwise. Are they a Delver deck? No, they're a Blue Moon deck. Hello, oldest son. How's it going? How's playing Minecraft this morning?
Good.
Good? You and Declan have fun?
Well, that would play Mario game.
Oh, he's playing a Mario game now?
Well, I would play something at the TV.
You want to watch something on the TV in the basement?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, Dad can come out. Let's roll. Dad's got this. I love you, dude. Alright, so Dispute sounds good. Explosives might be good. Liliana's probably good.
I think the people don't want it.
You picked the wrong button? Okay, hold on just a minute. How else do you want to sideboard here, chat? Is this a Fatal Push matchup, or should these come out? They could have something like Thing in the Ice, I guess. But it's also possible they just, like, don't have threats that way. Plague Engineer on Wizard is probably good here. Yeah, because it kills Snapcaster Mage and, yeah, is this a grindy matchup for K-Command? Maybe it's Temur Battle Rage out on average. Like, I know we combo killed them there, but that's probably more the exception than the norm.
Whoa.
Just, like, bring in more threats to go along here. Hey, let's fix it. Come on.
I'm dizzy.
You're dizzy. Okay, Jacob. Listen. Well, you want this show? No. This is the back button, okay? If you don't want to show, press this one. Press this one when you want to show, okay? It's gotta work, okay? Only use those buttons. Look at that. Didn't even miss anything. We did not beat Blue-White at the start. They were a Geist of Saint Draft variation. They ran us down. You should stream them playing Minecraft to do commentary. I think I might stream me and Declan playing some Lego games at some point soon. Need to take the time to get that set up. Probably post Historic Open. Historic Open is soaking up all of my resources at the moment. All of my extra time. So we'll do the scry trick here with the Bauble. We'll Bauble ourselves. If there's a card we want, we'll fetch, or we'll not fetch. If there's a card we don't want, like I don't need another land, we'll go ahead and fetch. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch basic swamp, basic island here, so that we can play through a Blood Moon. Best Lego series. As someone who's played an incredible number of Lego games at this point, I think the best one, in my opinion, is probably the Harry Potter series. The puzzles and the way the characters operate in it, I think, is my favorite of any of the ones we've played so far. Have I seen an increased viewer count? I have not, Roxer Boxer. I've not played the Indiana Jones one. We just started Jurassic Park, though. This is also a pretty natural low point in... Magic overall. Yeah, if you look at my last 30 days, my last 30 days of streaming have a 12% lower average viewer count than the 12 days before it. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the numbers look like after the new set drops. Normally when new set drops, the viewer counts are extra high. And at the end of the day, too, like, I don't really worry about my viewer count because viewer count doesn't turn into actual dollars for me. There should be a streamer preview day for the set. Usually it's the Wednesday before. So the set release will be a week from today for everyone. That'll be my first day streaming it. But people that Wizards gives access to will have access to it on Wednesday. I'll plan to just take that Wednesday off. I'm here for hearing Jeff throughout the day to get through my work at home compared to my interest in Magic right now. Yeah, I think we're at, and like that's having done this job for almost two years now is, having done this job for almost 2 years now, it's like, the cycle tends to be pretty cyclical in terms of what viewer counts look like. Yeah, I've done a couple of bounty board things in the past, Tom. In general, even with bounty board type stuff, I prefer to not promote or play things that I don't actually enjoy or like don't seem interesting. So that kind of limits what I can take. There's a lot of really bad products and games out there that are willing to pay people to promote them, and I tend to skip over those when those offers come my way. Let's get our loot on.
Daddy, I my show.
You paused your show? That's okay.
Daddy.
What's up, dude? Let you have 48 month subscribers. I do. So I've been streaming. Whoa! If you want candy, did you eat breakfast? Mm-hmm. What did you eat? Go eat a yummy stick and some cheese.
I ate yummy cheese.
You ate a yummy stick and cheese?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna ask your mom.
Not yet.
Yo, you did? Oh, you didn't do it yet? Okay, go eat a yummy stick and a cheese stick, and then you can have some candy.
Yeah.
Yummy stick is beef jerky for reference. Yummy stick is beef jerky. Sorry, so the 2-year comment versus 48-month subs is I've been streaming in some capacity for close to 6 years now. I've been doing this as a full-time job and really tracking my stats in terms of how they relate to set releases for the last 2 that I've been full-time. So my channel's been partnered for a long time, a little over 4 years. I've been streaming for close to 6 years, and I've been doing this as a full-time job for almost 2. She is not Toxic Flames. Do I still go to GPs and SCG events? Well, I mean, no one really goes to GPs and SCG events at the moment. But no, in general, before COVID happened and shut everything down, I wasn't really playing much Paper Magic. The couple of events I did go to, there's a Midwest tournament series called the Nerd Rage Gaming Series that I had played a couple of because they were fairly close to my house. But in general, I derive about the same amount of personal enjoyment from streaming as I do playing in tournaments. And streaming pays my bills, and playing in tournaments is basically just a cash sink. So it's hard to justify kind of going to tournaments as opposed to just streaming. Usually if I'm going to a tournament, there's Matt in chat is someone I've traveled with a good amount. It's to spend time with people that I want to spend time with rather than to play Magic. So I guess I'm binning a fish here. You know something yesterday that talked about self-isolation until 2022? The reality of the current situation in which we are living is that there is a strong possibility that some amount of social distancing is going to be necessary until they can manufacture and mass produce and distribute a vaccine for COVID-19, which is likely a year or more away from being able to happen. And anybody who's kind of trying to tell you otherwise, other than that, is probably lying to you. Trump. Sorry, had something in my throat. Hey, Cheeto caught my throat. Yeah, you know. Yeah, some degrees of things will open back up before others, but like things like large Magic tournaments, sporting events, stadiums full of people, large concerts, those are types of things that will likely need to be shied away from. Theme parks, yeah. Things that are really, really optional in terms of needed to survive as a society. Some amount of herd immunity is possible too. That's also a possibility. Fatality rate is too high to get up to 80% herd immunity without an insane number of deaths. Yes. Yep. That is likely accurate. Alright, so this is pretty decent. So, because I drew Street Wraith here, I get to play Gurmag Angler whilst still holding up Stubborn Denial. Thing in the Ice is pretty scary, though. If we don't win this game, and it's looking like we're probably not going to, I will likely board the Fatal Pushes back in, since we now know they're on Thing in the Ice. Have you ever missed a Bauble trigger in paper? I don't think I've ever registered Bauble in paper. Yeah, I definitely should have used the Pain Land on their turn. I'm gonna use it now, but I should have used it on their turn so that way I could have cycled this turn. Definitely should have done that. A little bit of a spew on my part. That's an incredible draw. That's like really, really good. That might have been the best draw in our deck. One of your friends is a playmat that says, "Don't forget your Bauble trigger" in big letters. That's probably not legal for tournament play, I would assume. Why are matches like that not allowed? Because they're technically giving you outside assistance during the game that you're playing. So even if they counter Dismember here, I still pay the life. So my Shadow's a 5/5 regardless. Rough. Okay, and the fact that I messed up my timing on... The fact that I messed up my timing on the Fiery Isle here, not having that extra mana, costing us on the Spell Pierce in a big way. You have mini sideboard guides in paper tournaments. You can access outside notes in between games. You cannot access outside notes during your game. Is the distinction there with a sideboard guide versus notes on a playmat. I boarded out Battle Rage, because it's an interactive matchup. Kroxa looking super awkward in the face of Ashiok. I don't know if you're supposed to board out Battle Rage in this deck. I feel like people who play this archetype tell me they're supposed to a lot of the time, but I don't know if I believe that. Like, I feel like the good thing about this deck is, like, punking people out with that card. And I feel like without it, my deck just doesn't do a whole lot of the time. Looking for a Dismember here. I have one more of those. Well, you know. I guess there's a chance. I guess there's a chance they can't flip this thing over, right? They only have 2 cards in their hand. Then I'm going to lose my graveyard anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and just play this out. Hope they don't flip their thing over. If they flip their thing, we die, right? So, might as well. Yeah, and two spells kills us, so we're just, like, hoping they don't have it. Just, like, cross the fingers. Scale of 1 to dead. Where am I at here? The only card they could have that keeps them alive but doesn't kill us is they could have a Cryptic Command here as a card they could reasonably be playing. They like tap our team and draw a card. Incoming, tank, kill you. Yeah, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. Heldrick, thanks for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. How things been today? It's been fine. I think this is the only thing close. This is the thing closest to resembling a fair deck that I really enjoy in Modern for the most part, because it has the kind of combo element to it. Man, I'm gonna be super tilted when they come out of this and have a play. Yeah. All Magic the Gathering online formats are on the table. So when Pioneer took a nosedive south, I just opened it up to any older formats on Magic Online, any bigger formats on Magic Online. So subscribers can submit Legacy, Modern, Pioneer, Pauper, Vintage, whatever people are willing to pay to see, I'm willing to entertain. Is this the Cryptic Command? There are 1, 2... There's only 2 Stubborn Denials in my bin. 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's 2 stubs in my deck still, or 1 stub in my deck. I have a Mystic Dispute as well. They're bouncing my Scions. Alright, I'm gonna Thought Scour them in response here. Rats. We're probably gonna die here. Yeah, I could have also drawn a Dismember for this. Okay. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa. We're not dead. Even if they find a spell here, they bounce our board and then Snap blocks, and then I get to recast Shadow. But if they draw a brick here, they die. Stephen Douglas Weeks, thanks for the 22 months. And Redigas, thanks for keeping me around. And they have to proactively flip their thing, so unless their thing to flip it is a cantrip, Snapcaster Mage will get to block and give us another turn. Thanks, Amherst. I'm really looking forward to running the open event this weekend too. I think it should be a lot of fun. Hoping coverage ends up looking sweet, and it's something we can do on the regular moving forward. I'm really hoping the Discord coverage isn't going to be a disaster. That's my hope. Our deck has 6 cards in it currently. How's Modern doing? We are up a game in this last match. Now, I'm going to be streaming to Twitch off of people streaming their matches to Discord. So because Arena doesn't have a spectator mode, everybody competing in the tournament is required to broadcast their matches to Discord. Is how this is going to work. Oh no, I milled myself. I only have 5 cards left in my deck. Yikes. Whoopsie poopsie. There's 2 cards left in my deck now. I wasn't thinking about that. I was just like, oh, I need to play my Gurmag Angler. I should do this. But yeah, it's an oops. Everything will be on YouTube. It's so weird. I guess other people are just like used to content creators not putting stuff on YouTube. Y'all should be used to me by now, chat. Everything goes on the YouTube channel. All of it. So if I Scions and plus this, they can't block with just this, so they have to block with both. There's 1 card in my deck, and I'm at 1 life. There's 1 card in my deck, and I'm at 1 life. Go. And we found this last Stubborn Denial. 1 is not none. Whew! Alright, by the skin of our teeth there, chat. By the skin of our teeth. Alright, as far as this deck is concerned, the Kroxas felt like a miss to me. I think the Kroxas were basically worse than Gurmag Angler at every single point. And I don't really feel like the grindy aspect that Kroxa provided really added something meaningful to our deck. I also think that Royal Scions was really sweet. Like, the fact that Royal Scions is a pseudo Temur battle rage for getting past chump blockers that doesn't require you to keep an otherwise dead card in your deck seems awesome. I don't know that I would necessarily want 2 Royal Scions in the main deck, but I feel like playing 2 in the 75 is probably pretty reasonable. I think you could, like, cut the Kroxas from this list and, like, play the 4th fish, play, like, a K command in the main and put the other Scions in the board. So that would be something I would think about. All right, what are we doing? We're going to roll on into some Arena for the rest of the day. We're going to kick off with some red-black Aristocrats to start. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.